For me, I've been on the internet for more than 10 years now. Um, you know, Internet marketing, that's my specialist, email marketing in particular. And for me, I've always thought, why is it not possible to join a company and you simply pay the company and then the company can do the work for you? Why not? They have the resources, they have the manpower, etc. And so I created my own system called Automatic Internet Millionaire. And basically, it was really for people to get involved in a business whereby all they had to do was just get in, and so that was my kind of mindset 10 years ago, and jump forward, to 2018, where a good friend of mine shared Onpassive with me. And it didn't take me long to realize exactly what was going on because I was using a lot of these digital tools. I was using autoresponders, capture pages, bulk mailer, all these different tools that I was already using. So I was familiar on the product side of things, and then when I get to understand what the CEO, Ash Mufareh, was all about, the type of person that he was, and what the plans, goals, mission, vision, et cetera, was for the company, I was sold, and so I locked arms with him and just went to work immediately. And I'm telling you, it's the best decision I've ever made. So for now, for the past year and a half or so, I would say that I've dropped everything, including what I was doing before, and just been focused on passive, simply because I believe that this is the last business anyone will ever need, And so as I look at the products, looks at the suite, I look at the comparison that's out there in the marketplace and just see everything, in under one umbrella, more cost effective, it's truly a winner. There's no doubt about that. And this company will create, I would say more millionaires than any other company, period, in the marketplace. So I look forward to seeing how it's going to transform so many people's lives. We know back in 2018, summer of 2018, there was nothing. It was just an idea, and that has blossomed now to over 620,000 individuals get involved in this company. That is massive. That I can't think of another company who has done that. So as I look at that, that just gives me the framework that I need to see that numbers wise, whatever income a person can imagine that is realistic, they can achieve it with Onpassive. There's no doubt about that. By the time we get to the actual hard launch, I suspect we're going to have about 1 million founders in, and then there'll be no more founders position. Okay, so then the company will go to work for all of us, and simply they're going to set up our domain name, a unique domain name for people, all the back-end stuff, the autoresponders, capture pages, and all of that. And then they will go and find the potential customers. And this is the beauty of artificial intelligence. This is the beauty of technology. You by yourself, you're not going to bring in 100 million customers. You're just not going to do it, right? But with technology, you certainly can. And that's what we see projected in the first 12 months, that yes, it's very realistic, very, very realistic to see 100 million customers in the first 12 months of this business. So can you imagine if you have 100,000 of those 100 million on your team? Can you imagine if you have 1 million customers on your team? So that's where the numbers and the income come from. It's from customers, right? And so we know that there's almost 5 billion internet users that's out there, right? And so 100 million is nothing, Frank. So definitely in the first 12 months, I foresee, think of Facebook. Facebook has over 3 billion when you combine WhatsApp and Instagram and so on. Under the Facebook umbrella, but there's no reason why Onpassive cannot receive at least 1 billion users. There's no reason not for that not to happen. So I clearly see that happen in the near future as we proceed with the launch and so on, for sure. We know that e-learning platform, for example, that's a massive industry, projected to be over $350 billion by the year 2025. So what's going to happen, instead of people using like Udacity or Udemy, they're going to use Onpassive Academy, right? Instead of people using, a GoFundMe for crowdfunding, right? We know the large fees that they charge and so on, yet they make over $100 million per year in revenue, right? So instead of using GoFundMe, people will be able to use Bless powered by Onpassive, right? Zoom, we're on Zoom right now. We know if someone gets a Zoom account and they have 10,000 attendees, it's going to cost them $6,500 US per month. Okay, that's a lot of money. And then if you go up even higher, it's going to cost you even more, right? And yet all these products, if somebody wants to have a bulk mailer, so somebody wants to mail out, 100,000 emails, they can't go to their Gmail account and do that. It's not going to happen. right? So you need a bulk mailer. So Onpassive has Opost. So instead of people using a company like JMailer Pro, they'll be able to use Opost. And the list goes on and on. URL shortener. They can use Otrim instead of using Bitly or Blink, right? Those other companies, because just with a trim URL, okay, with Bitly, if you want a URL shortener, it can go up to $300 per month just to have a link shortener. So the costs, can add up real quickly for people who is actually using these tools on the internet, and so when we look at what Onpassive is provided for just a few $100, right? So it starts with that. So the demand is going to be there, because if you can provide something, people with something that's more cost effective, naturally they're going to take a look, right? And when they see that it makes so much sense, they're going to become customers, right? And then from there, some of them will become resellers, right? So it's that part of it is a done deal, right? But people, when we get to hard launch, so the full public launch, that's when people are going to purchase their product package. So they're getting all these products, right, for one low price, okay? And they pay that one time out of pocket. And so what happens next is that, remember now, the company's going to set you up with your unique domain name. The company's going to be driving the traffic. The company's going to be doing the presentation, the follow-up, closing the sale. Even the customer support, the company's doing all of that for you, okay? So it truly is 100% hands-free. But then what happens, though, is that as these sales starts to come in, okay, so that's how you're making money, because as soon as the sale is made, you get paid instantly. You're not going to wait for a week or a month or whatever. As soon as the sale is made, you get paid instantly. And so the company will provide you with two wallets. You have a funding wallet and you have a withdrawal wallet. So every dollar that comes in, okay, that you earn, okay, a portion goes into the funding wallet and the rest goes into your withdrawal wallet. Anything that goes in your withdrawal wallet is yours to take out, whether daily, weekly, monthly. There's no requirements to withdraw, none of that. Whatever goes into your funding wallet, that now accumulates and then it pays the next month's subscription. Okay, so that's why we say it's one time out of pocket. Every month going forward, it's always coming out of your earnings. So if you make $500, they take out the amount for this month's subscription. If you make $1,000, same thing, right? So that will happen over and over again. As I said, and as we move on in time, we will clearly see that, now you have 3 customers, then you have 10 customers, then you have 20, it just continues to grow, right? And so that's what's going to happen for people. So when we say it's one time out of pocket, you pay one time as a founder, right, out of your pocket, and then you pay one time for your actual products, okay? That's it, nothing else out of pocket. Everything else is going to be out of earnings. So it's a complete win-win for people. They don't have to worry about auto ship. You've been in business, Frank, that, where there's an auto ship, people paying $100 a month, $200 a month, whatever, right? And then that there's some people, they're going to look, okay, this month I didn't make no money. Should I pay my auto ship, or should I pay for my bill? Should I pay my phone bill? Should I pay my hydro bill? You know what I mean? So with this, retention, we don't need to worry about retention. When people come into Onpassive and they realize what it's really about, they're not leaving. They're not, for 620,000. And I would say for those who have actually asked for a refund, because people do get 100% money back guarantee with it. We're talking about a handful of individuals who've done that. So that is amazing when you're talking about 620,000 people getting in. So the future is so bright, no doubt about that. And so, I'll tell folks that, listen, what Onpassive has done in the past 2.5 years or so is nothing but remarkable, okay? Zoom took 4 years just to go to the marketplace with one product, okay? Onpassive has 50 products. So it's like you're building 50 different companies at the same time, right? It's really what you have, because each product is standalone, okay? Yes, they're integrated within the one platform, right? But in actual fact, it's like having 50 different companies, that we're going to have moving forward. But as we get into soft launch, and we are on the verge, we're talking weeks away. We're not months away. We're not 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months away. No, we're literally weeks away from soft launch, okay? So as we get into the soft launch, what's going to happen is that we're going to have access to, maybe 4 or 5 products. So we're going to have access to those immediately within the soft launch. And then throughout the soft launch, because soft launch will go for about 90 days or so. So throughout that process, more products will get introduced into the back office that we'll be able to beta test, because this is where the founders come in. We are the beta testers. The tech staff, they're doing the alpha testing right now, okay? And as soon as that alpha testing is finished, Then we move into beta, which is our soft launch. Okay. At that point, the price is going to increase. So instead of paying $97 coming in as a founder, people are going to be paying, probably closer to $200 during the soft launch. Okay. And within that time frame, we'll also have the opportunity to generate some income as well. Okay. And the company is going to be deploying its own campaigns during that time. So everything's going to be tested. We'll have a wallet set up that will be able to, basically generate some income in it so we can withdraw that money. Right. So all that's going to happen for us in soft launch. So once the 90 days or so is up, then we go into the actual hard launch. So we're not far away from that. You know what I mean? But the thing that people should look at, though, think a year from now. What's going to happen a year from now? Where are you going to be a year from now? And a year from now, I am telling you, there's going to be so many people who's going to have their life changed just in the next 12 months alone. Never mind 2 years from now, 3 years, 5 years, right? I'm talking about just in the next 12 months alone, because some folks obviously are pre-building, right? It's because it's an option. You don't have to. The beauty about Onpassive, it says active or passive, you're going to win. So if you come in and want to keep this all to yourself, hey, that's fine. You're going to win because the company's going to do everything for you. But if you really get it, right? If you really get it and recognize what the potential is, why wouldn't you want to have, 100 on your team by the time you get to launch? Why wouldn't you want to have 1,000 on your team, 10,000 on your team, and so on by the time you get to launch? Because that means you're generating income. Think about this, Frank. Imagine if you have 1,000, let's just say 1,000. You have 1,000 on your team by the time you get to launch. That means worst case scenario, absolute minimum, you're starting to generate $1,000 a month. Like that's just super conservative. But that's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is now when you project that over the next 12 months, you could easily have 100,000 customers on your team based upon what the company's going to do for you. So can you imagine just in 12 months, you have 100,000 customers? If the company's just paying you, even just say $1 a month, $1 per sale per month. Think about that. That's $100,000 a month. And right now we have individuals in the business who have 100,000 on their team. One guy actually has 250,000 on his team. Okay, so there's some happy people right now. So think of what's going to happen as soon as we launch. So, people have to kind of, broaden their horizon, look at the bigger picture. Don't just look at this from a micro standpoint. What's going to happen next month? What's going to happen the first? Think 12 months out, because that's when people are going to really see that change, because Onpassive will set some serious records starting day one of launch. When we start hearing about, oh yeah, I made this, oh, I made that, because people are going to talk, right? People are going to keep it a secret, you know what I mean, when it comes to income. So, it's just incredible, Frank. That's why it's important for people to get in, with the founders, right? To be a founding member of Onpassive. It's like, think of Bitcoins, right? It's like in the early days, when it was like pennies, right? People thought, no, that's not going to work. No, it's a scam. No, it can't be real. Too good to be true, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And then what happened? It went to $1, and went to $100, $500, even when it was $1,000 per coin. No, it's a pump and dump, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and we know the rest, right? The short version shot up to 20,000, dropped back down to around 4,000. People said, see, I told you it was a scam. See, it's a pump and dump. And then what happens? Where are we now? 63,000 US per coin. So it's to me, I said, people, listen, I believe you've missed the boat. Bitcoin is not going to be pennies, anymore. It's not going to be. So you've missed the boat. You know what I mean? Sure, you can make money now if you're trading it. But realistically, though, if you go buy a Bitcoin today, spend $63,000 to get one coin, right? Just to double your money, like really? So it has to go to 120,000 just to double your money, right? So that's what I'm saying. The opportunity to make 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, you've missed that boat, I believe. That's just my opinion, okay? And so when we look at Onpassive, though, when people jump into Onpassive, Frank, right? Let me just give you a conservative scenario. Let's say someone doesn't have anyone on their team because they want to be passive. That's okay, right? And they only have one account because, people can have as many accounts as they want. Some folks have 50 accounts, some have 100 because they see it and they get it, right? So that's why they have all these multiple accounts. Well, let's just say somebody has one account, right? They get to launch, hard launch, they just have one account, okay? And so let's say the company, over the course of 12 months, if all the company does is just get you 100 customers, just 100 customers, okay? Oh, you and I know that's conservative. That's super conservative, okay? For 100 customers, you can blink and get 100 customers. I've seen the marketing capabilities of the company already, because it's been tested. Just that, most founders are not aware that it's been tested. Sometimes people say, oh, I went and I signed up and oh, I end up under the wrong sponsor, okay? Okay, with that means there's organic traffic that's going on, okay? And some of the leaders on the leaderboard, they're able to generate some signups as a result of what the company's doing in the background, just playing with it, okay? So I know the company's traffic is real and it can work, okay? But just going back to the example, right? You have 100 customers over 12 months. Come on, you can close your eyes and get 100 customers, Frank. I know that. But bring in the AI now, right? Conservatively, 100 customers. Okay, great. But what happens now? All these customers are going to just tick a box and say, I want to be a reseller. Because why would they? All they have to do is just check a box. And once they become a reseller, now the company's going to do the exact same thing for them. So the same way they got you 100 customers in your 12 months, guess what they're going to do for these 100 people? Same thing. So that means over the course of 24 months, you now have, remember, you started with 0. You now have 10,000 customers on your team. Jump one more year now, Frank. Same conservative example, that 10,000 now becomes 1 million customers. Can you imagine you starting out with 0 on your team? You didn't do a thing, and over the course of 36 months, you have the potential of 1 million customers on your team. Think about that income. Again, just using that, if the company pays $1 per sale per month, $1 million per month, Frank, come on. And that's being super, super conservative. What about the person, Frank, who has 10,000 on their team by the time they launch? That person can see 1 million customers in that first 12 months, right? This is why people who get it are building a team, because now the power of compounding, the leveraging factor kicks in, right? And that, gonna give people an exponential growth on their team of customers. This thing is all about customers. Customers. Doesn't matter how you dumb the numbers down, Frank. Doesn't matter. If you say, what if the company gets you 10 customers for an entire year? By the time you reach 5 years, you have 100,000 customers on your team. You just can't. No matter how conservative you want to be with it, the numbers still come out big at the other end. You just can't help it. This thing is a power. Frank, listen. This thing is so powerful. When people get it, they can't sleep at night. You understand? I've been on so many different Zooms and people are telling me, man, you got me thinking. I'm thinking so much about this thing. Like, is this really possible? I'm saying, yes, I've been there. I used to spend $30,000 to $40,000 a month just on driving traffic, Frank. That's it, just driving traffic, right? So I know if you have quality traffic, right? If you have quality traffic, that means you're going to get sales, right? Simple as that. And the more traffic you get, the more sales you're going to get. Like, it's just simple, right? The problem is most people don't have the capability. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the know-how. You understand me? To make that cycle happen. But once you bring in AI, once you bring technology into the mix, it's a game changer. So there's more stuff coming is the bottom line. In the next week, next 2 weeks, we're going to see more. We're going to see more products being pre-released. And then that's going to get us all that we need to go into the soft launch. So this is why I say we're weeks away. We're not months away in all of that as far as the soft launch is concerned. And that's when people are going to really realize, just take one product, Frank, just one. Take any one of them, any one of these products. Every single one is a multi-billion-dollar product. And yet we have so many of them. And we're not going to stop at 50. It's going to be more. It's a tech company. So as with a tech company, you have to continue to improve. You have to continue to build. You have to continue to grow, right? So we're going to see that happening. There's no doubt about that. So people just have to get locked in, because once we get to hard launch, there's no more founding position. There's just none. This is like liquid gold or digital gold. You know what I mean? Like, people just have to get it. Exactly. All they have to do is get in, Frank. Just get in. They don't have to understand from A to Z about the company. Come in, you can take a look around. If you're not happy with what you see, hey, get your refund back. No problem, no questions asked, right? But I just want to see people to get in, because, when I check and I look at the stats, again, I love numbers. There are 7 billion people with a B, 7 billion people around the world that make less than $50 a day, Frank. Less than 50, that's less than $18,000 a year. Can you imagine if you're living in Canada and you're making $18,000 a year? What's that going to do for you? It can't. That's like, somebody who's in university or something and has a part-time job, right? But there are people working full-time around the globe, and that's what it is. And so for those individuals, I say that, listen, if you're in India, for example, and average income is like $2,000 a year, can you imagine if the company just helped them make $10,000 a year? Can you imagine? Never mind, the big numbers, right? Just $10,000 a year, which we know is more than possible. And that's what we're talking about because this is a global company. It's not just about Canada. It's not just about the US, but it's right around the globe, over 200 countries, right? And so that's why people from Papua New Guinea, people from Vietnam, people from South Korea, people from all over are jumping in. Why? Because it makes sense. Finally, they're going to have something whereby they don't have to sell. They don't have to go recruit anyone. You know what I mean? All they have to do is get in. That's it. Just have to get in. And from you do that, you're going to win. So, it's a done deal. My kids, each of them have 5 accounts, right? And, my eldest is 18. She's in university, okay? And so the thing is, by the time she finished university, she already has a full-time income without lifting a finger. Because as we know, a lot of kids, they go to university and by the time they graduate, they can't get a job in their field, right? That's just a reality for a lot of students, right? But can you imagine someone in university, by the time they finish, they already have a full-time income because of Onpassive. So now they're free to really pursue their passion. One gentleman was saying today, and he's a nuclear physicist, okay? And he's in Onpassive. And he's saying that, from his country, right? He's in the United States, but I think he's originally from Cameroon. And he's saying in his country, a lot of people, they become, let's say, doctors, not because they want to be a doctor. They just become a doctor because they know, okay, I can make a lot of money, right? And so that's how they view education, is that they just go and do these different careers just because of the money. There's no passion there. You know what I mean? And to me, now with Onpassive, my daughter, she can pursue her passion. It's not about, okay, you have to be this or you have to be that because you're going to make a lot of money with it to be able to take care of your future family, et cetera. No, now you can actually pursue your passion. So if you want to go be an artist, they always talk about starving artists. If you want to go be an artist, you can go pursue that because, money is no longer an issue. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I love about Onpassive, right, is that it'll be able to do that. We know that there are people out there who are destitute. We know people need clean water, even in the United States. What happened in Flint, Michigan, right? We know that other places around the world, they need water. We know that there's homelessness going on. Right here in Toronto, there's homelessness. You know what I mean? There's so much good that we can do. And that's why Onpassive was created. It was created for people to generate wealth, and then they can use the excess wealth, because what you're going to make, you won't need all of it. You really won't. So once you take care of yourself and your family, the excess now you can use to all these wonderful causes. And that's one of the reasons Oh Bless, right, was created, right? So people can use the excess wealth and bless other people, who are less fortunate. Because not everyone's going to come into Onpassive. Let's face reality. Not everyone will. You know what I mean? There's almost 8 billion people on the planet now. Not everyone's going to join Onpassive, and that's okay, right? That's okay. But we can also help those who are unable to join and just help them in any way possible, whether it be creating a job for them, you know what I mean? Whether it's just helping them get through a situation. There's so much that we can do. And this company, directly and indirectly, are simply going to change lives. There's no doubt about that. Because like I said, when you look at, number one, the products, okay, because you have to start with products. You have to have real products if you want to be, in business for any length of time, right? So when you start there and when you start to compare what's in the marketplace, okay, so because we know what's out there, right? And so when you start to, like I said, when you start to add it all up and see how much it will cost someone to get all these products, right? And we hear it from time to time from different marketers that are online, and they're telling us the kind of money that they're spending right now, right? And so they can't wait for Onpassive because they know it's going to save them money. You have people also who have money, Frank. So, not everybody, get involved in Onpassive for the same reasons. Some people have money who've gotten involved with Onpassive. They just don't have time. So they see Onpassive, as something that's going to save them time. So now you have the money, I have the time. Now I can actually live my life the way I want it to be. I can actually have total freedom now. Okay. And then obviously you have some people who have time, but ain't got no money, right? So Onpassive is going to help that as well for those individuals. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right, though. This is going to be something that just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. And even when people say, well, then you're going to reach a point, it's going to be all saturated and blah, 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 blah. Listen, there's so many other ways to generate income whereby you don't need, new people coming in. You don't even need new customers. Come on. We pay our hydro bill every single month, right? Every single month. Hydro company, they don't need new customers coming in as long as they have the recurring customers, right? Your cell phone bill, right? I still have a landline. You know what I mean? I use that for emergency purpose. I still have one. You got to pay that every single month. And the list goes on and on and on. People got mortgage payments, rent payments, whatever, right? So, there's always monthly payments. You're always going to have bills. Okay, you can get rid of your debt, but you're always going to have bills. You know what I mean? And so when you think of that, if all of a sudden down the road Onpassive says, well, you know what, we're large, we're a large company. Guess what? People are going to look and say, I want to advertise to your database, right? Because that's what companies do. They're always looking at ways and means to expand by promoting to more people. So they simply come to Onpassive and says, yeah, we want to, okay, no problem. You pay us X amount of dollars. So that's more revenue coming in that has nothing to do with new customers coming in. You understand? So this is why I tell people, don't worry about, after a while, people always say that, but it never happens though. I've never been in a company that, no, it's saturated now, nobody wants to. Amway's been around for what, 70 years or something like that? And they're still getting people joining, you know what I mean? So this is a thing that people don't understand, that no, in theory, yes, that is possible in theory, but in reality, that doesn't happen that way. And Onpassive is no different, except that we have multiple revenue streams, right? It's not just about customers coming in for the products itself. You're going to have other ways and means. New products will be brought to the table. What if all of a sudden Onpassive decides to provide internet services? Okay. Again, that's recurring payment that people are already paying for. Now, instead of paying through Bell or Rogers, okay, guess what? People can now use Onpassive service. You understand? So there's so many possibilities, Frank. That's why a database is so important. This is why Facebook gobbled up WhatsApp, gobbled up Instagram to increase their database, right? And so, that's a powerful thing when you think about it from that standpoint, to realize the endless possibilities, the endless. Onpassive income plan is really unlimited. There's no limit to it. There's no, 8 levels or 5 levels or binary, unilevel. There's none of that stuff. It's just unlimited income, right? And so when you combine all those things together, what do you have? You have something that is a game changer. That's what you have in Onpassive, a game changer. In soft launch, people are going to make full-time income in soft launch. Okay, again, not everyone, but some people have positioned themselves for that, right? So if you take someone, who have, let's say they have 1,000 already off launch, okay, the company is going to be generating, doing their marketing campaign and generating sales during that process. So other additional founders will be coming in during the soft launch. And so the company will give people the opportunity to test out their wallets. So they will be generating income streams, everything about this company is win-win-win. The CEO says all we do is win-win-win. You know what I mean? And so in soft launch, you're going to see some folks making a couple $100. Some folks will make a couple $1,000. Some folks will make, tens of thousands of dollars. It's going to happen, and we'll be able to use those numbers at that time because now it's factual. It's not projections. We can say, hey, guess what? Frank's been in there for a few months now, and yeah, last month he made $10,000. Like, we'll be able to say that if it's factual, right? And so we're going to have a lot of great stories moving forward. And then when people start to hear those types of stories, because there are some folks, they're waiting, well, when you make money, tell me about it. Okay, sure, buddy, no problem, right? And so, we're going to be able to use those stories from soft launch as we move forward. But the 7-day trial, because you had mentioned that earlier, the 7-day trial comes after hard launch. And that's, as we go along, Frank, it gets easier and easier and easier for people to jump in. Back in 2018, when there was nothing, okay, it wasn't that easy for people to jump in because most people are not visionaries, right? But in the first 6 months, we had about 10,000. In the first 18 months, we had about 50,000. But guess what happened in the last 6 months? Massive explosion. We had about 500,000, right? In that period of time. So, the point is, as we move forward, it's just getting easier and easier and easier for people to jump in. So as we get into soft launch, even though the price will go up, more people will jump in. Why? Because we can say, yes, we're actually testing these products now. When you come in, you'll be able to do the same as well as a founder and so on. Then you get to a hard launch. It's a free trial. Put away your wallet. Don't need to spend anything. Get in, take the free trial. You'll be able to even generate some income in your wallet while you're in the free trial process. So everything about this company is just brilliant, Frank. So I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see the smile on people's face as they start to realize, finally realize their dreams. No doubt about that. I always enjoy speaking about Onpassive because it's just something that is in my blood. I live, I eat, I sleep, I drink Onpassive. Just because I'm excited. I'm passionate about helping people. That's just the bottom line. It didn't matter what it was. When I was in university and I'm tutoring high school kids, math, and always trying to do something to help people. And so this business gives me the greatest opportunity to be able to reach out to so many around the world. When I'm with those in Australia, when I'm with those in India, when I'm with those in the Caribbean, and so on. It just gives me great joy when I see the smile on people's face that they finally have the opportunity, to be able to live life on their terms. That is something that's special because a lot of people, as Phil was saying, there's a lot of people that have it hard out there, and yes, we are blessed to be in a good situation and live in a country such as Canada and all of that. But, there are a lot of people around the globe that really need a helping hand. And that's the number one thing, that I'm excited about with Onpassive is because it's going to be possible. It's going to be possible to reach out to so many worldwide. And here's the thing, right? It's always been said, you have to be able to, conceive it in your mind, and you have to be able to believe it, to achieve it, and all this fancy stuff. But guess what Onpassive is saying? No. Even if you don't believe it, even if you can't see the millions, Onpassive is going to force you to see it in your bank account. They're going to force you to be successful. All you have to do is get in. That's it. There's nothing else for you. People say, well, what's required of me? There's nothing that's required of you other than get in, right? Just open the door and come in. That's all people have to do in this business, right? And so when I think of that, I'm saying, wow, so many people are out there struggling finding a job. How many people have lost their job during this pandemic, right? Lost their job, businesses gone out, no more, disappeared, right? Companies that's been around for years just disappeared just like that, right? Because of the current situation, and yet we have something that is blossoming in the middle of a pandemic. How do you do that, right? Just think about this. This is why it's more than just a business. It's a movement. It is a movement. We can see the case counts in India, right? We can see it, right? We can, get the numbers and so on. And yet this company is thriving. How do you grow when so many companies are going down, down, down? Here's this company called Onpassive that haven't even launched yet. No one's getting paid any money, and yet this thing continues to grow and grow and grow. And when you see the caliber of people that's coming in, that just warms my heart. And when you hear what people have to say, the different causes, when I speak to a gentleman by the name of Peter, and Peter wants to help the homelessness that's rampant in Detroit, Michigan, right? When you hear people's stories of what they want to do, this old woman that was launched, to be able to help women around the world, right? And to see that they're moving forward. They're not even waiting for the actual launch for this to happen. They're already moving forward, making plans and how they're going to help so many. You just have to get in. You just have to get in to be able to understand everything about Onpassive, because it's very hard to convey what Onpassive is really about in one sitting. This is why sometimes we're on Zoom, Frank, and we're literally there for 4 or 5 hours. Usually on a Monday afternoon from 2 o'clock till about 6 o'clock. it's just Q&A. We're just trying to reach out to people and just get them the answers that they're looking for. Because I believe that this is the one company that will have the most impact on people's lives globally. There is no doubt about that in my mind. No doubt. So whether people are coming for the money, whether people are coming for the products, right? It doesn't matter. It is all here with Onpassive. So I'm truly blessed to be a part of it. I'm glad, that I can, be here with you guys tonight. And I'm telling you, Frank, let's just keep locking arms, brother, and just make the best of it so we can reach as many people as possible, because it's all about serving humanity. All right. Thanks so much for having me.